Okay, so just following on, guys, from the why we do the performance profile, how we do it, what the performance profile is. Now I'm going to guide you experientially. So I sent you the pro forma. If you don't have that, email me. I'll send it again. But I'm going to bring this up on screen, the pro forma. So we're going to go through it experientially. So we're going through this experientially. We're not going to cover all of it. It takes a bit more time to do than what we're doing this evening. But this is going to start you off in terms of moving forward. The whole idea behind this is sort of, we work together on this, and this will tee you off in terms of where you are. I'll just spot like that. This is gonna sort of just work on it experientially, and then we'll sort of go from there. Okay, so what we do, we've got a performance rating of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, where you want to be. For me, it's always best to compare ourselves to the very highest level, or the level you want to be. So the idea here is, guys, is, okay, 10 being, let's say I'm going to compare myself to a Premier League player in my position. You might say, okay, that's a bit out there. But if you aim, for the stars, then you sort of hit the moon type thing. The idea is to sort of aim high, and you can always scale back, rather than, okay, well, I'll just aim for this league or that league, and let's aim for the best. And sort of build enough character that if we don't get to the highest level, and as many variables it takes to get there, then we'll go as high as we can. But if you feel more comfortable aiming for a different level, you can do. But what you do is, I mentioned earlier about what you need to do when you do profile, is you decide on the qualities that are associated with success and performances in football. So here you can add or take away from this in your own time, your own pace. But I've put together some areas of fitness. I've put together general attributes, technique, skills, and psychological demands. And what you do, you, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, where you want to be, the highest level, then what you do is you put yourself where you are. For fitness, it's more straightforward. Let's say, for example, physiological characteristics of football players. Well, the physiological characteristics are aerobic capacity, running economy, anaerobic threshold, anaerobic capacity, strength, speed, acceleration, agility, change direction. So football components. What you can do to test speed, endurance, power, agility, flexibility, are things like the yo-yo test, the 505 agility test, speed test, body composition test, vertical jump, counter movement jump. So this is where your fitness test we talked about on the a few weeks ago, and we'll talk about it again, come into play. Because out of all these variables, this is the most straightforward to measure, because you can do like a 20-meter test and you can see the norms of what players are getting at the highest level, and you can see where you are. You can do like a yo-yo test, and you can see what the top players are getting, what you're getting. You can do vertical jump. So you can see, I have some norms that I've accumulated from the research literature. I can send to you if you don't have them. And for me, that obviously fitness is a huge variable. That's not to say if you run as quick as a player, if you can jump as high as a player, you're going to be equally as effective as that player. But what it does suggest is a huge variable. And that's not to say that if you don't have the norms that you can't be a successful player, but the idea is for you to be the best you can be. How much can you improve? So if you were to put the ratings of the highest, that's not to say you're going to achieve those, because there's other factors like genetic. You might be more inclined to improve a certain area, but you're aiming to be as high as you can, which is what we want, for you to be the best you can be. And you can have a think, for those of you who done the fitness test a few weeks ago, if you haven't done them, we'll talk about them, and think about where you are. on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high compared to the highest norms. Okay, and then the same thing applies, guys, to attributes. For example, so this is self-report measure, and this is some of the stuff that we cover throughout the program. So learning, and we can do it loosely now. We can talk about it shortly, and then you can go away and have a sit down and have a think and get a true reflection of where you are. So learning, 1 to 10, attention, 1 to 10, leadership, 1 to 10. For your technique, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high. And this is why it's good to video training. If you video yourself training, you can see yourself doing these, and you can get a better idea technically. Or you speak to the coach as well. You obviously great coaches, they'll tell it like it is, and you can see, and you can even video yourself and watch someone else at the highest level do the same technique and say, okay, compared to that. So maybe you can watch yourself shooting, and you can compare yourself to where you want to be, and these might not be specific to your position, but you sort of get the gist of it. So shooting 1 to 10, where am I? Crossing 1 to 10, passing 1 to 10, controlling the ball. Then you look at skill, first touch. This is the game. Skill is in the game. And basically here what you do is you video yourself playing if possible. That's why it's good to video yourself playing now and again. And you can see, okay, if you can get some game analysis, it's quite useful too. So the idea here is, okay, well, my first touch, 1 to 10, dribbling. Obviously some games will be better than other games. There's other variables that affect that as well. Like the fitness, it could be like a sleep, it could be, nerves, it could be nutrition. So there are things but as a general rule, you get an idea. Receiving the ball, turning 1 to 10, defending 1 to 10. So what you're doing is you sort of clear, and motivation, psychological demands of the game. Motivation 1 to 10, my focus 1 to 10, concentration and dealing with pressure. And obviously with me, you're sort of spending a lot of time on this variable, because this variable is huge in the game, huge. I don't think there's one variable more important than the other, in the sense that they're all, and it all depends on the individual. But I would say making as much improve as you can every area. But like I mentioned earlier, with the physical ones, you got clear data, whereas the other ones, you're looking at self-report measures, video analysis, and game analysis, and so on and so forth, which obviously we'll cover these on our journey together. But equally, and the idea really is, having done that, well, you might be thinking, well, okay, now that I've got my my results, then you can plot, you plot your own performance profile, then you generate action points, okay? Because as I mentioned before, you really don't want to go to a team if physically, you're not doing yourself justice, okay? So then you want to improve that. You're going to trial for a team, you got to make sure that you sort of at the very highest you can be for these areas. Which is key, or you might find there's other areas I need to improve. And incrementally, you can say, if I'm at a 5 now, how do I get to a 6? So the idea behind that really is to be able to plot your own and then generate action points. So you've got a weekly planner alongside the training you do at the academy. And I know you've got a lot on. Some of you got football, you got school, you got other things as well, but you do what you can, within reason, making sure you rest and recover and some downtime. And even maybe in the training, you might hang around for half an hour and say, okay, can you help with my shooting? I need to improve that. Identify barriers in your way. So it could be, okay, maybe you got an injury, maybe you aren't playing and you can't really get an idea where you are. So you can know the barriers, but then once you've analysed the performance, the results, then you plan and implement the goal setting strategy. So what do I do to keep my strengths where they are? Well, what can I do to improve the areas I need to improve? So, for example, if the speed needs improving, then can I spend some extra time on speed? If I need to improve my leadership qualities, and I need to, if I need to improve my shooting, so it's very clear to you what you need to do. My first touch, I need to improve these areas. Well, you can email me, and I'll send you what I can and do the best I can to help you in those areas. How often do you do this? Well, for me, really, it's useful to go through. It's useful every game to grade ourselves in the game. It's okay, scale of 1 to 10 in the game, with 10 being high, where do I think I was and where do I want to be? But the idea here is really, to do this maybe every say, it's useful for me maybe to do this every eight weeks or so, to have a sit down and think, okay, let me reflect a bit. And that also gives you time. So you're not overdoing it every day and being obsessive by it, but every 8, maybe even 12 weeks, depends really. And you can sort of, have a look and think, okay, well, which direction is my game going? It's very important you consciously take control. You consciously take control of your own, destiny, in the sense that you sort of sit down and think, okay, I'm going to look at this clearly. And I look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, this is what I need to do to be the best I can be. So you're really aware and it's clear. Okay, you're really clear. And the idea is, okay, to be true to yourself and decide, what do I need to improve? And obviously, as these improve, the idea is that the game's going to improve. So it's a bit different in a team game. An individual game is a little bit different because, say you play tennis or golf, individual game, you improve the areas and it's you against the opposition. In a team game, you've got players around you and you depend on them too. Obviously, that has an impact on your performances as well. You could make a case for that, but this is the sort of key. What I'll do now, I'll take some